Hello and welcome to the June TCL Teen Bakealong. I am Marilyn, your Teen Librarian, and this month we are going to be making Fruity Pebble cookies because it is Pride Month and Fruity Pebbles are rainbow colored, and that just sounds pretty tasty, I think. It's also the start of summer, so I figured we'd do something a little bright, a little light. Cookies are fun, you can share them all with your friends, easy to make, quick to do, so let's all tie on our aprons and get started. So here are all the tools and ingredients that you'll need. Everything's going to come pre-measured. As always, we've got the flour and baking soda and salt already all together in there. The applesauce, which takes place of the eggs. The butter, which needs to be very soft because we're going to be creaming it together for cookies. I might actually need to put mine in the microwave just a little bit because it's soft, but still kind of a little, not as soft as I want it to be. So if you need to do that, you totally can. Probably just about 5 seconds or so, that should work. Our Fruity Pebbles, obviously. You'll need both because it's about a half cup, and that's both of these together make about a half cup. Your vanilla, a bowl to mix it in. You don't need a very big bowl because this isn't a huge recipe. And then sugars and our rubber scraper to cream together the butter and sugar. So once you've got all those together, we'll get mixing. Alright, so I've just set our oven preheating, and this is our cookie sheet with our parchment paper down. You don't necessarily have to put down parchment paper, I just do because I have it, and it makes it easier for me to get cookies off, but generally cookie sheets are going to be non-stick, so you shouldn't have to put anything down, shouldn't have to spray, but if it makes you feel better, you totally can. But anyway, we've got that all ready, so we're going to put that aside, and mix up our butter and sugars. Now I did put these in the microwave for just a little bit to make them really, really soft. You can kind of see how squishy they are. This one went for about 5 seconds because it's thicker, but it's also very small. And this is 8 seconds, so it's not melted, but it's super, super soft, and that's the kind that we want. Add in our sugars. Oops. Alrighty. And if you happen to have a stand mixer or a hand mixer, please use it. It is much easier to do than what I'm doing. But I do it this way, even though I do have a stand mixer, just to show you that you can do it without having to have any mixing tools besides a spatula of some kind. So I'm gonna get this all mixed up and then we'll be back. And we're back. I did a good amount of mixing, so I can show you just how I did it. I'm sure you know how to mix if you've done these bake-alongs before, but if you've never done it and this is your first time, I just kind of slap it around a little bit. If you have a mixer of some kind, obviously you can see how it does it. So that's sort of how I do it, is just sort of slap it around side to side. That's how we want to kind of whip it up. I'm distracted, I got focused in there. Yeah, you want to do it, that's part of why you want it really soft, is because if you've got butter that's a little too hard, even if it's not quite, if it's room temp but still kind of solid, you really want to make sure it's nice and soft, just because you want it to be whippable, as it were. Okay, so now that we've done that, scrape down the sides, and now we add in the vanilla and applesauce, which is taking place of our eggs. And I'm sure I mentioned this in the last one too, but I include applesauce in the kits because you don't have to use eggs. However, if you do have eggs and you want to use them, one about 4-ounce thing of applesauce is equal to 1 egg. So you can just use an egg instead of the applesauce, or you can just use the applesauce. It turns out just about the same, actually. It's one of the things that I've learned. And now we want to mix these together. It's going to be a little easier with eggs, obviously, but if you've got the applesauce, it's not impossible. But just be careful because it gets really gooshy, splooshy, messy very fast. That's okay, so just kind of, there we go. And again, if you've got a stand mixer, it's even easier. But if you don't, just kind of whip it around. Ah, there we go. I don't know if you saw it, but some of it flew off screen. There we go. There we go. There we go. Ah, it's still, you can't see it, it's still splashing on me a little bit. So for eggs, you'll be able to tell, again, that's more incorporated a bit more easily. With applesauce, I'm going to just kind of go until we can't really see these little streaks and holes of it, or at least as much as we can. Because the thing about mixing stuff into butter is that it can be a little bit tricky because butter is all fat, and the fat doesn't really want to blend with stuff like that very easily, especially liquid, something like applesauce, which has a lot of water, a lot of wetness. And then vanilla, which is just pure liquid, obviously. So, what I think I might do, see if this, yeah, because I'm getting like little, I'm going to grab a whisk, actually. Ow, see if that works a little bit. Oh, yeah. At the very least, it's easier to work with. Oh, okay, yeah, that seems to be working pretty well. And if you can hear my cat in the background, he says hello. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna... Oh, we're doing that pretty okay. Yeah, we're doing that pretty okay. Okay, yep. Alright, I'm going to give this a very thorough and loud whisking, and then I will be back. Alright, so as you can see, it still looks a little thready, just because we've got that liquid in there, but it looks more incorporated, so I will take it. So for our dry ingredients, we're going to add these in gradually. So by gradually, I'm thinking about, there's not a ton here, so about 2 to 3 batches or so. So we'll do a little bit of that. There we go. And then use our spatula to mix that in. And you don't need to be gentle for the dough's sake, but maybe be a little gentle so you don't flop flour up into your face. I've been there, let me tell you. There we go. Yeah, see, and you'll see how that threadiness kind of starts to disappear. No, maybe I'll look up the science of why that is, but as it is, I think it's because we've got this dry stuff to help absorb that liquid applesauce and vanilla, so it looks more cohesive. Whoops. This is such a soft dough. I think I'm not used to, because I don't make a ton of cookies. I mostly make bread, and I've made cakes and such before, but I'm not used to such a soft and tender dough like this. But as you can see, I've added in the rest of my flour, so now we just want to make sure it gets all mixed in. Scraping down the sides. Woo. Okay, so there's our batter dough, either one. And now we add in the Fruity Pebbles. So really quick, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make sure, because we might. Oh yeah. Perfect. There we go. Look at that. We actually even have a little bit left over. Now you don't need to be concerned about not crushing these, so to speak, because they're little tiny pebbles and they're going to get crushed no matter what you do. But do try and do like a folding. Like you don't want to whip it around like when we were creaming the butter and sugar. You want to get it nice and there we go, just like that. A little gentle, just to get it all incorporated so we see lots of pretty little pebbles everywhere. Perfect. And then one more just since I scraped the spatula off. Perfect. Alrighty. Okay, so that is our cookie dough. Now we can put it on our cookie sheets. We're gonna make about 2 tablespoons of dough for each cookie. So if you have a tablespoon, you can use that, or you can also just use, you have big spoons, a big spoon, and just kind of eyeball it, honestly. I'm never hugely picky about measuring. Ooh, yeah, that's very soft. So you can just plop that down there. Your hands are going to get messy, as you can see. But I'm going to plop these all down here and then put them in the oven for, we're baking for 10 to 13 minutes. So we'll start with 10, as you do, and then see how they are. So we will see you once it's time to get them out of the oven. Alright, this is after 10 minutes. Now these are very thick, so I'm gonna do, I think, the extra 2 minutes, because I don't want them to dry out, but, and normally with cookies, if the inside still looks a little soft, that's good. We mostly just want the outsides to look set, but these look a little too soft. So I'm gonna go 2 minutes just to get that inside cooked just a little bit more, and then we should be good, but we'll see. Alright, 2 minutes later. Oh yeah, I think we're good. Yes, we're good. Okay. So we're gonna let these cool on the tray for just a couple minutes. And then we'll take them off, put them on the cooling rack. And we'll definitely still try one when they're warm, but we'll let them cool just a little bit before we do that. Alright, it's been about 5-ish minutes. We have our cookies. These look really good. I'm really pleased with how they came out. I know around the holidays I was seeing a lot of things of like how to make perfectly round cookies using like a cup thing or something. And that's nice and all, but honestly I really like when you have uneven cookies like this. I think they've got personality. So, ooh, they're very soft. Oh man. That's really nice. You get a little bit of fruit from the Fruity Pebbles, a little bit of crunch too, so it adds some extra texture, which is very nice. Mmm. Yeah, by golly. They behave a little bit more cakey, I think. And I think it's because they're thicker, which again, fine with me. Mmm. But I think these would make really good sandwich cookies if you're into that. Maybe make some frosting or what have you. Make little cookie sandwiches, put them in the middle. I think that'd be pretty darn tasty. Mmm. Mmm. Well, thank you. Pardon me. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope you enjoy these cookies, and I hope you enjoy the start of your summer, and we will see you in the next one.